In the land of gold, fog, and overvalued tech startups, you'll find a destination that attracts travelers of all shapes and sizes. Widely seen as a cultural crossroad in one of the most beautiful cities in the country in more ways than one. Perhaps you already love it for all that it has to offer. Perhaps you grew up there and you couldn't wait to leave. Or perhaps you have a wonder in your heart of what it could be like to visit. Whatever it may be, step through the Golden Gates as we dive into San Francisco. But before we dive in, I want to welcome you to Destinations Explained, a short series we do diving into destinations around the world. And if you haven't already, like this video, watch till the end, and please suggest our next destination that we cover in the comments down below. Let's get into it. San Francisco is located in Northern California and sits on a peninsula in between the Pacific Ocean and the San Francisco Bay, which is why you commonly hear the term Bay Area. With constant references to gold, you may be asking yourself, why? Well, in 1849, hence the name 49ers, the American Gold Rush started, sparking one of the most influential events in American history and turning San Francisco into what it is today. In 1849 alone, the population grew from 400 to 25,000 in the greatest migration of US history. Fast forward to today, and San Francisco has become what so many people see as part of the American dream. Great weather, food, art, culture, you name it. That's not to say the city exists without any downsides though. San Francisco has had to deal with the real problems that exist with any heavily populated urban area. Pollution, crime, drug use, homelessness, and worst of all, absolutely horrendous traffic. Seriously, if you've ever been to any of California's big cities, the traffic is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how does anyone even get around if you're in a hurry and you have to leave hours early just to go 15 miles? I was actually wondering while we were there, how do the ultra wealthy get around in San Francisco and LA? Is it the same as everyone else? Just bumper to bumper traffic? Let me know in the comments below. I'm actually eager to find out that one. But anyways, back to San Fran. Its terrain is made up of steep and rolling hills along beautiful coastline, but you'll see some pretty wild parking jobs if you're walking around the city. Its climate is beautiful. The average low temperature year-round is 51 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 degrees Celsius, and the average high is 63 degrees Fahrenheit or 17 degrees Celsius. It's one of the reasons you'll see most permanent residents have zero AC, be it central or window unit, because you can pretty much just open up a window, pop a fan in there, and be comfortable year-round. One of the strangest climate characteristics, though, of San Francisco is quite possibly its summer fog, which you will see blanket the city in the mornings and dissipate around midday. More on that later. So we've covered a little bit about this city, and you still want to come here, or at least you still want to find out about the cool things to do if you were to come here. So we'll break out the things to do into little sections: touristy, nature, find places to eat, and finally, nightlife. First on our list of tourist traps, we have the Golden Gate Bridge, because why wouldn't we start out with one of the most famous spots in the developed world? Completed in 1937, it stretches 1.7 miles long and connects San Francisco to Marin County. Fun fact about its construction, there was a supporting safety net below the scaffolding that saved a grand total of 19 workers from plunging to their deaths. These 19 men became members of what's known as the Halfway to Hell Club, which is pretty wild stuff. The bridge itself sits 220 feet above the water, creating a surreal feeling when walking and looking over the edge. Even though it's pretty heavily trafficked and widely known as the most photographed bridge in the world, it's still a pretty cool spot to visit. You can walk the bridge, or catch one of the amazing views of it from nearby parks like Baker Beach. In the intro, I actually missed one thing that San Francisco is really famous for, and it's the parades. Specifically, the Pride Parade. Officially the largest gathering of Pride supporters and allies in the nation. It runs on Sunday morning of Pride Fest yearly in June, and usually heads west via San Francisco's Market Street, starting at Stewart Street and ending at 8th Street. It starts at 10:30 a.m. and ends around 4 p.m. There will most definitely be over 100,000 spectators, and it'll be one of the most enjoyable experiences of your travel. If you are into parades, this is one you cannot miss. Be ready to see anything and everything as smiling faces dance and sing down the street in solidarity. It not only is a super fun event in itself, but when you're there, you actually feel like you're a part of history. Between 1934 and 1963, if you were to visit this island in the heart of the bay, it wouldn't be for tourism. Or, if it was, while you were traveling, you probably did something that would put you in the category of country's most dangerous criminals, accompanied by names like Al Capone and Robert Stroud. But in 1963, that became a thing of the past when the prison was closed due to its high cost of operations. We are talking about none other than Alcatraz Island. Today, it is open to tours out of Pier 33, where you can catch a 15-minute ferry ride to the island. It is a very popular destination, so please expect a lot of touristy people. But It is a pretty legendary piece of history that is continually featured in pop culture like X-Men Last Stand, Point Blank, Catch Me If You Can, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and so many more. Bouncing from Pier 33, you can visit the famous Fisherman's Wharf. This is San Francisco's most popular waterfront community and is home to Pier 39, Ghirardelli Square, Anchorage Square, just about any seafood you want, and so much more. Starting as early as 1900, this spot was obviously a fishing mecca operating out of San Francisco. Then, the fishermen started selling dishes like clam chowder right out of the boat to hungry patrons that started coming to the wharf for free meals. This practice led to some of the most popular dishes still to this day, including crab louis, which is crab mixed with Thousand Island dressing. This practice became so profitable that some fishermen abandoned their fishing businesses altogether to open full-service restaurants, the oldest being the Grotto, which you can still go to today. A few other famous places include Aliotos, Sabellas, and DiMaggio's. So this is going to be a place to come if you're a huge fan of seafood. But even if not, it's still a legendary place to walk and shop. And come on, who comes to San Francisco and doesn't at least get an ice cream at Ghirardelli Square? Nearby to the Oakland Bay Bridge, you'll find a unique tourist attraction with a unique operating schedule. Open Saturdays, Tuesdays, or even Thursdays, you'll find the Ferry Plaza Farmers Market, which I'm sure you're already stoked to hear the word farmers market. But this is not just any farmers market. Just imagine any of your heart's organic desires and you'll find it there. You like empanadas, raw oysters, hot peppers, blue bottle coffee? You can even have it all at once. But if you do decide to come, make sure it's early because the best foods go very quickly. Get ready for an amazing culture shock and visit the nearly 24 blocks of San Francisco culture that is known as Chinatown. There's no easing into it either. You walk through beautiful arches and statues and you're there. That's why it's largely called the city within a city in San Francisco. With more than 20,000 permanent residents, 75% of whom were not born in the United States, Chinatown is often known by it being a thriving yet dense neighborhood with more than 160 years of culture to offer thousands of tourists that visit daily. And to start off, we're gonna eat more food, and there's no shortage of that here. Between the beautiful architecture and shops, you'll see endless menus of hole-in-the-wall restaurants that will not only have great food at a great price, but the experience is unbeatable. Small seating areas that promote the value of a shared meal can be an extremely pleasant experience. Our personal recommendation would be the Good Mung Kok Bakery, but you may need to hit 2 or 3 there to satisfy all your culinary needs. Next, you'll enjoy the immense amount of shops selling anything from authentic Chinese goods to knockoff San Francisco branded items. Whichever one you choose, when you buy from these shops, you're supporting the local businesses there and helping the community thrive. On the more nature and outdoorsy side of things, which can be a little tricky to come by in such a large city, we'll actually start with Mount Tamalpais, also known as Mount Tam. By the facts alone, like its height of 2,751 feet, you wouldn't be impressed. However, it's where it sits next to the sea and San Francisco that will have you in awe. Mount Tam is located north of the Golden Gate Bridge, and you'll get there by taking Highway 101 to Highway 1 to the Stinson Beach exit and follow the signs up the mountain. From the parking lot, we recommend a short hike up to the peak. It can be slightly tiring, but nothing most able-bodied people can't handle. One of the most beautiful experiences of our travel careers was coming here close to sunset, where we were able to catch the fog forming over the city and flowing like waves. It was like watching an ocean of clouds. There aren't actually many places in the world that you can experience this phenomenon, so if you are in San Francisco, we recommend this as a must-see. On the note of sunsets and sunrises, if you're looking to catch a beautiful golden hour picnic or photo shoot, here are the 2 best places to go. The first is Twin Peaks. The ideal best time is to arrive before sunrise. If it's foggy, the sunlight will beam through, creating the best Instagram lighting on the West Coast. The second is Land's End for sunset. As one recent TripAdvisor very eloquently put it, it's a workout to walk the narrow trails and rocks. I nearly had a heart attack, but it was worth it. And finally, I couldn't have a nature section without mentioning a botanical garden, which are oh so beautiful when you visit any given city. Now, the San Francisco Botanical Garden is on the west side of Golden Gate Park, which is on the east side of San Francisco, bordering the coast. It's 55 acres of seeing the world of plants, because in 1937, they basically started collections of gardens from around the world. It'll probably take a few hours to see the entire thing, but go early in the morning when it's foggy and you'll feel like you're in a whole nother world. I can hear the Full House theme song now. Did you even come to San Francisco if you didn't visit the Painted Ladies? The answer is definitely no. It's probably the most photographed spot in San Francisco and most likely the United States. I put this in the nature section because of the beautiful park that's right across the street. Yes, it is a very touristy attraction, but as soon as you grab your pics and reminisce about how good looking John Stamos is, you'll no doubt want to lay in the soft grass and relax. Plenty of families, performers, and merchants will also be out enjoying the day as well. You'll have to head south of the city about an hour for this one, which in California distance is anywhere from 1.5 to 10 miles, but it's definitely worth it. The Devil's Slide bunker is perched precariously on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean to the west. It was built during World War II as a spotting station for enemy ships. Now, it sits open to explorers willing to scale its graffiti-covered sides to slip into the viewing port. That's right, there's no door from the back. You have to scale the sides overlooking the cliffs below. Now, it's not actually as dangerous as it sounds because it doesn't sit right on the edge of the cliff, but you can scare yourself pretty bad. It is a must-see attraction for the more adventurous travelers watching. And if you can get to the top, it will make an even better Instagram picture than the painted ladies. Now, I'm sure many of you skipped that section because you were like, who the hell wants to hike? Who wants to see some old prison? I came to San Francisco to eat. So here we are. Our recommendations for great places to eat in San Francisco. Although I know this is going to be the section where most people complain that we miss whatever people from San Francisco eat often, In-N-Out Burger or something like that. First on our list is a bit biased, I will admit, because anytime we come to San Francisco, we eat here first before doing anything else. And it is known as Pakwan. Choose one of the 3 locations that are tucked away in the city of San Francisco in small, quaint buildings. It is cheap and simple Pakistani Indian food and minimal on the aura of the restaurant, but the food is just unreal. Order a few garlic naan along with a chicken tikka masala and go to food heaven. That is until you're too full to walk out on your own. The portions in this place are just insane. We're heading back to Fisherman's Wharf for this one. In 1965, brothers Al and Joe Scoma purchased a small coffee shop on Pier 47 that served the local fishermen. From those humble beginnings, Scoma's now turned into one of the nation's highest grossing independent restaurants. It is a true pier-to-plate restaurant. As you can see, their receiving station built for local fishermen to drop their catch off directly to the restaurant. It's also known for its have to know where it is vibe, as it's not apparently visible to most tourists, and combined with valet parking, you don't have to worry about your car if you're driving. Come to this place if you're in search of iconic, sustainably fresh seafood. This restaurant's a bit of a twist from the others we've talked about. Is it fancy? No. Does it have floor-to-ceiling windows with the San Francisco sunset shining in the dining room? Not exactly. Is it one of San Francisco's most famous hole-in-the-wall Burmese Chinese places? Absolutely. Make sure you have cash in hand because that's all they take, and grace yourself with the 8-seater, once-in-a-lifetime eating experience. But only take about $20 because trying to spend any more will land you in a food coma for probably a year. The prices are cheap and the dishes are large. This place has left thousands upon thousands of travelers and locals in awe with their house noodles or pot stickers. One reviewer recently said, "Opening time is quirky and unpredictable, much like the service, but if you get lucky enough to find this literal hole in the wall, it will change your life." If you make your way across the Golden Gate Bridge, we definitely recommend going to the area known as Sausalito. It's got a very Amalfi Coast Italian vibe going for it, which I guess inspired the name. But this entire area is incredibly fun to walk or ride bikes through. But one eatery I want to focus on is called Lighthouse Café. This place is usually crazy busy, and for good reason too. For starters, it has a beautiful view of the bay. And for a small cafe to provide incredible service to a brunch, lunch, and dinner menu is nuts. The food is all so fresh, whether you're in the mood for eggs Florentine, Danish meatballs, or white tiger prawns. You'll definitely want to make a reservation too, but too bad, you can't. The restaurant is just too popular with foot traffic for them to reserve tables and risk not being busy all the time. I'm gonna knock out the coffee and dessert place really quick together in case you're in the mood. And it turns out they're actually not too far away from each other. For coffee, you have to check out Sightglass. The name itself comes from how they design their store. Yes, you get to enjoy a perfect, expertly roasted cup of coffee over your avocado toast, but more importantly, they have these massive coffee roasters where you can watch the whole process take place. They value knowing the story behind your coffee. They say it impacts the flavor or something like that. Anyways, for dessert, you're going to take that caffeine high and walk over to powder. It's not like any ice cream shop you've been to. What you thought was going to be a regular scoop turns into this beautiful art show of shavings that just looks insanely good. You can build it however you want and pretty much have the ice cream experience of your life. Farmhouse Thai Kitchen. This has been a staple of the Bay Area for a while and is one of the prominent restaurants in the Mission District. The ambience and design will blow you away. Go in the evening and you'll find a low but adequately lit interior, beautifully decorated, and for some reason, an amazing feeling just being in there. The food is unreal. They have samosa, they have curry, they have pad thai, and you can't forget the blue rice. Your dollar goes a long way here as well, as the servings are massive. I feel like this is a good place to eat if you're a regular eater of Thai food, or it's a safe place to eat if you're trying it for the first time. Feel like you're gonna love it. And lastly for food, in case you haven't had enough, I'm gonna throw at you a really specialty niche place. One that's famous for basically one cooking method, and that is RT Rotisserie. This place is literally famous for serving rotisserie chickens. Yeah, sure, they have other stuff, but a freaking restaurant that specializes in rotisserie chicken. The portions are hearty, the ingredients are fresh, and things are surprisingly affordable. Not to mention they have so many sauces to choose from. Move over Chick-fil-A, there's better sauces in San Francisco. Come to think of it, what is it about chicken places that make them so crazy about developing sauces? Like Raising Cane's, Chick-fil-A. I say, keep the sauces coming, chicken places. Now for the time the degenerates watching this video have been waiting for. What exactly does San Francisco nightlife have to offer? Well, the first and most talked about place on our list is DNA Lounge. The club sits at 375 11th Street and features all your expected club goodies like dancing, live music, burlesque performances, private parties, and even film premieres. It won the best dance club in San Francisco for a number of years now, which I guess says a lot for a dance club. Second on our list is Monarch, which gets my award for the best name on our nightlife list. Monarch proudly announces itself as the new throne of San Francisco's nightlife dynasty. Sure, Monarch. Located on the outskirts of San Francisco's Soma district, Monarch boasts a dual-level club with various lounge and bar areas decorated with steampunk chandeliers. Quite frequently mentioned when reading reviews of this place are the large amount of good-looking people who attend Monarch, as well as how professional the staff is and making sure everybody's protected. Maybe they are in fact the new throne. I don't know. Trick Dog is a bar of specialty cocktails, all costing $15. So what sets it apart from other specialty cocktail bars charging $15? Well, they essentially rotate their menu, which they call catalogs, every so often introducing a whole new set of unreal drinks. For example, before their current menu, they boasted a selection of drinks called the Lucky Number 13 collection. Each drink was based around tattoos that were created in collaboration with Idle Hand Tattoo Shop, a famous shop in San Francisco. The current menu is named after fields of study like psychology, creative writing, linguistics, etc. Needless to say, you're not going to find a bar that cares more about your drink experience. 1015 Folsom, which is also conveniently located on 1015 Folsom Street, San Francisco, California, is a 1,400-person venue that specializes in events. They host legendary weekly events like Release, Nikita, and Spun Day, as well as annual events like Mad Hatter's Ball, Chinese New Year, and more. This one fits on the lore luxury side of things with cracked glass bar tops, Brazilian hardwood dance floors, and a 40-foot high mezzanine. As one fine Yelp reviewer wrote, "This is the dopest club in San Francisco." I'd have to say, I agree, Yelp reviewer. And to keep building up that oh-so-sweet watch time, here are a few things you have to know before going to San Francisco. They have a very open culture. The city is full of tolerant people who just want to do their thing, and let you do yours too. So expect to see anything and everything. There are quite a few options for getting around the city, like Uber or the Muni Rails, but one interesting one you should really check out is bicycle. Most of the things we talked about aren't terribly far away from each other, so bicycle is an awesome option. With San Francisco's nice weather, you're not going to sweat your butt off. Check out a place like basically free rentals and tours, where you can rent one for an entire day for just $32. The money you'd save on parking, Uber rides, and train tickets would be insane. Parts of the day can be chilly pretty much year-round, so bring extra clothes just in case. Before you go, I just wanted to let you know we make our living creating free content and resources for you, and it's made possible by you viewers supporting us through sponsors like Audible. If you sign up for a free trial through our link, www.audibletrial.com/venture, you'll get any audiobook of your choosing for free, and we'll get a small commission so we can keep making these entertaining videos. And if you end up canceling your free trial and not going for the full membership, it costs you nothing, and you get to keep the audiobook. So at the end of the day, you could get a free audiobook, support us, and not have to pay anything if you try it out through our link. My current favorite title is Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss, which was actually just released in audiobook form. It's all about the habits and rituals of some of the world's most successful people. So if you wouldn't mind, go get a free book through our link. It helps more than you know, and we very much appreciate it. See you guys later.